What's going on, guys? Mike here, and welcome back to another video. So today's topic is a topic that has been requested multiple times on this channel, and that is to go over a step-by-step guide on transferring an RBC mutual fund to Wealthsimple. Now, if you're new to the channel, welcome. I do kind of want to quickly highlight how I have a monthly video that goes over my portfolio, and I often talk about an RBC fund that I have through a group work plan that every time it hits $5,000, I transfer it into my RSP held within Wealthsimple. So that is the stemming of where this video is coming from today, because of course, people hear that and they want to see how that process happens. So that's what we're going to be covering. Now, there are a few assumptions being made in this video, and I just kind of want to quickly highlight this. So this is obviously based on RBC. Now, if you have another bank account or another broker account within, like, say, TD or Scotia, I'm going to guess that the process is very similar, but this video is going to be primarily focused on RBC. The other assumption here is that I'm going to assume that you also have online banking. Now, don't panic if you don't have online banking for your current mutual fund investments. You can still perform these actions through the Wealthsimple app, which I'm going to be showing you guys here shortly. The only thing you're going to need differently is you're going to need one of your latest statements from your brokerage. Once you guys have all that, let's kind of get right into it. So starting things off with, obviously, like I said, this is going to be focused on an online banking. So what we're going to do here is we're going to log into my online banking through RBC, and right away we're going to get to the My Accounts tab. Now, once we're here, you're going to see a few things that I just kind of want to quickly highlight. So you're going to see in the middle section here, mutual funds, I have one thing there which is called selected balance. Now, for those of you who have watched my portfolio reveals, this is the RBF 460 mutual fund that I am invested in through this group work plan. So obviously you can see here how I have 162 shares for a total value of $5,265. Now, right below that, I just kind of want to show you, this is an RBC savings deposit. Now, this may not be visible in your online banking through RBC right away, but the way we are going to move the account to Wealthsimple is we need to move the funds from the mutual fund into the savings deposit. So now, of course, I've emptied out that account, so it still shows that it's there for me. But if it doesn't show there for you, that's fine. When you do this the first time, then it'll be there. So moving on, we're going to be clicking on Switch Investments. And so what this is going to do is we're going to be moving our current mutual fund value of $5,000 into the savings deposit. So you're going to see here right away how we have mutual funds, GICs, and of course the option for savings deposit. Now, I do want to quickly highlight, because this was a concern of mine, this does not create any sort of tax event within your RSP. So you don't have to worry about, like, well, is this being withdrawn out of the RSP or anything like that? No, this is still within the RSP account, so there is no tax event. You do not have to worry about that. That was something that was a major concern of mine when I first did this. And I couldn't find anywhere online, no videos on YouTube, nothing at all that explained that. So I just wanted to quickly highlight, this does not generate any sort of tax event. It is not being withdrawn from your RSP. So once you click on the savings deposit, then you're going to just basically click on continue, and then we're going to get to the next screen. Once we're there, we're going to again have to select the actual mutual fund that we're in. So if you actually have multiple mutual funds, they will be listed here, and you may actually have to select one at a time and do this. I've only ever had one, so of course I only have one to choose. But this again could be slightly different for you, so you might have to go through this process a few times in order to sell off the mutual fund into the savings deposit. So once you select that you want the balanced fund or whatever whatever mutual fund you have, you're going to end up putting down the value that you want. Now, I don't ever always click on like all available balance. I always had this fear that maybe it would like close the account. I actually don't know if that would happen. But the way I get around this, me personally, is I always just kind of have a little bit less that I'm going to transfer, so there's still a value within the current mutual fund. So you're going to see here how I select $5,150 out of the $5,265 that is in the account. So once this is done, I can hit the continue button, and then of course you're going to get to a section where it's going to ask you for an email address. This email address is basically what's going to be used if they come across any sort of problems. So this is just for them to be able to contact you in the event of something they have questions or whatever. So be it. Once you do that, then you're just going to basically click continue. It's going to go to your confirmation page, and then there you have it. That's done. That is the very first step that you're going to have to do in regards to transferring your money to Wealthsimple. Now, there's a few things here. You're going to see here now, when I go back to the main page, you're going to see now how I have the grand total still at around that $5,200. But if you look now at the savings deposit has that $5,150. So what this basically did is we sold the shares of the mutual fund, and now it is being held in cash within the RBC RSP. So the big reason why we have to do this is because we can't exactly like move our mutual fund from RBC into Wealthsimple, right? Wealthsimple doesn't do mutual funds. Maybe if you have a different broker, maybe this wouldn't be a step that you'd have to do. But considering we have to transfer in cash, this is the main reason why we have to sell and move it into a savings deposit. So moving on, now the next step is to focus on Wealthsimple. So right away, we're going to change gears here. We're going to open up the app on my phone, and we're going to basically go through the steps now on initiating the transfer. So we do not initiate the transfer from RBC, we initiate it from Wealthsimple. So once we have it opened, we're going to have the two arrows on the bottom of our app that we're going to click on, and then we're going to be presented with a number of options. Now the option that we want to select is move an account to Wealthsimple. Once we select that, then we're going to be prompted with a few other options. Now, before we get to those options, it's just going to kind of go over a few things. Now, I do want to highlight in my portfolio reveal videos, I constantly say why I transfer $5,000 at a time. And that was because if I transferred $5,000 worth of assets, Wealthsimple would pay the fees. Now, I think this is something new because I noticed this when I was doing the transfer, when I was recording this video, that it says here, will automatically reimburse your bank transfer out fees if you move $15,000 or more in assets. So that 5,000 rule, I guess applies anymore. So I don't have 15,000 to transfer. I'm still going to do the transfer. Now, I also can't remember how much it's going to cost me. It's either going to be 50 or 150. So again, that's also why I did $5,150 so that I could ensure that I at least have that 5,000 left over. So this is kind of an unfortunate thing. I didn't know about this until I went to go do the transfer, but they did kind of have some updates that just recently kind of came out, which we're going to see here shortly. So I'm guessing that this is just kind of their new standard. So moving on, now we're going to select which broker or which account we're going to be moving it from. So of course, in my case, it's going to be RBC. Once we select RBC, then we're going to have a number of different options. So obviously the optimal choice for us here today is going to be RBC Online Banking. Now this is where I was talking about how there's been some recent updates. So we're going to go through both scenarios here. So before, there was only one option, and now they're giving you the option to go through, I think it's called Wealthika. Now, first we're going to start off by selecting the enter the information manually. This used to be the old way, so we're going to quickly highlight it still. And this is where we're going to basically need like that bank statement that you guys would have gathered if you didn't have online banking. And so we're going to obviously select the account that we have, which is an RRSP, which is within the RBC account. Once we select that, we're going to go to the next page, and then we're going to have to type in the account number. So for this circumstance, I'm just going to type in a bunch of 8s, and we're going to basically select, do you hold mutual funds in this account? So I'm going to select yes, even though it is in cash now, I still selected yes. I'm not sure if that's actually the right answer at this point, but that's where we're going to go with today. Now, of course, it's going to ask you which account to deposit it into, which is going to be our Wealthsimple RSP account. And then this is where you're asked, do you want to transfer the entire account, or do you want to just transfer a part of it, which is like the cash part of it, right? So we're going to choose that and then type in our dollar figure of $5,150. So that is just the example. I'm not actually going to submit the transfer this way because there's another way to do this, and this is going through the online broker through Wealthika. So we're going to kind of backspace now back to where we kind of were before we selected the enter the manual method, and we're going to start the process over. This is the way I'm actually going to do the transfer. So we're just going to hit next, And then it's going to open kind of a browser here for us. And then we're going to actually have to hit continue after we read the privacy here. And then we're actually going to have to type in my account number and password. So I'm obviously going to hide this on this actual particular video. Once you type in your credentials, it's obviously going to ask you for a method for verification. So it's going to either, you're going to send a text to yourself, you're going to get an email or a two-factor authentication, whichever step you guys have already set up through your online banking through RBC would be the preferred option to choose here. Once you guys have that, then obviously you're going to be able to authenticate, and then you're also then going to be able to choose the account. All right, so once we get through the authentication process, it's going to be retrieving the accounts within RBC, which then you can see how I can select my RSP group account. Now we're going to select that and hit next. Then again, we're going to select what we're going to be depositing it into, which is the RSP into Wealthsimple. And then we're going to choose the part of my account as cash because we moved that dollar or moved those mutual funds into cash. And again, because it's linked to the account, it's able to see the total dollar amount we have in that particular account. So I'm going to backspace that and just say I want $5,150. And that's it. You guys hit submit transfer, and now it says here it's going to be 3 to 5 weeks. My average is roughly a week to a week and a half is when those funds will typically show up in your Wealthsimple account. So there you have it. That's it, guys. It's a very simple process. It's not very hard. It's not very hard unless you don't know what to do. So I hope this, guys, was helpful. And if you guys are interested in further content on this channel, definitely check out my portfolio reveal because I've mentioned it a few times here. And don't forget to subscribe. We'll talk to you guys later.